whatever hour it is that you're tuning into this material. Um, Change is how we get to becoming better people. It's how we look better. That's how we feel better. That's how we just change overall. And the first thing we have to change in order to just be overall better human beings, like at least presentation wise, um, we have to change our behaviors. I used to, at one point, I was vegan, but I was still drinking red wine. I was like, red wine is healthy for you. So, I mean, I'm not taking any losses, but that was wrong. I mean, as long as you have unhealthy practices, you'll be taking losses. Now, for people with or without high blood pressure, coffee is stagnating. Okay, it's a diuretic, right? It make you pee a lot, and it raises your blood pressure because of the caffeine count or because of the boldness, the richness of the coffee bean mixed in with whatever it is that whatever processes they put that element through, right? So, in order to counter those sicknesses and ailments or to prevent them, you should try a healthier practice. What I have here is what I do to replace coffee as recommended by Dr. Berg. I do cold brew. You can choose whichever brand you're comfortable with. I like this one because I get it at Sam's Club for cheaper than the cheapest Equate versions. Like I get two for 15, and on this last visit, they were on super sale. I got two for 10. At Kroger's, these are $10 per 32 ounce. So I got two for like $4.90 something cents, right? So you do four fluid ounces of that, right? It says come behind it with 4 fluid ounces of water. As you can see here, I've got my water, but then I add a little curve to that. Something I learned from Dr. Berg is that in order to counter high blood pressure or to counter some of the negative effects of coffee, don't use creamer at all. Take sugar out of your diet altogether. More importantly, stop congesting your diet with more fats, more sugars, and more carbs, and try to just lean on a fattier diet because our body will burn fat as long as we're in a ketogenic state and we're not uh, compromising that state with sugars and carbs. So, coconut milk is my friend. I love this item. It's higher in coconut count than actual coconut water. It has a lot of fat in it. It's high in potassium, which is basically the resolve for high sodium in the blood. A lot of us have high blood pressure not because we have such a high sodium intake. It's because we're not getting the required daily amount of 4,700 milligrams of potassium. With this 1 cup of potassium that I put in my cold brew, I do get the 380 milligrams, and that's 8%, right? But I also mix that coconut milk with my nightly blend of kale, parsley, 1 whole lemon, ginger, turmeric, wheatgrass powder, and chia seeds, along with nopal cactus flower powder. Uh, I'm not going to tell y'all right now why I do that at night, but it's definitely a super food drink, super beneficial. So on a daily level, I believe that I'm definitely getting my required amount of potassium. So we start with 4 fluid ounces of the cold brew. Right? You can do more if you like, but I do. I just follow guidelines and instructions to a T now. I'm trying to really better myself overall. I'm not breaking the rules anymore. 4 fluid ounces of water. I normally do the water last in order to get all of the uh, coconut milk out of this container while like rinsing it. But I'm just going to do these steps proper, and so that's 1 cup, all right, or 8 fluid ounces of coconut milk, right? And I do that based on the servings amount. I do that in order to not exceed the 6 grams of carbs and the 4 grams of sugars, right? And it's more than enough. That's pretty much 4 ounces to counter my water, 4 ounces to counter the coffee. Um, and it makes it rich, super delicious. It cancels out the bitterness of the cold brew. And this is a cold brew concentrate, so you do not drink that by itself. You have to dilute that with water. Okay? I mean, you don't have to, but the instructions say so, and it is good to follow instructions. So, like Tupac said, change the way we think, change the way we eat, change the way we act, and then you can get some fulfillment out of life. You don't have to be poor in diet, poor in presentation, poor in thinking, poor in functionality. You understand? When you ingest poorly, you behave poorly overall. The way you choose and select mates is dictated by how you live your life, what you choose to eat and drink, because your overall self-esteem reflects it. You understand? If people were like so wholesome as to connect all of the dots as to why, even while they think they're winning, they're still failing, they would understand that with all things, there is a oneness. With all things, there's connectivity, you know? So while I'm presenting this like a challenge, right? Or a resolve for high blood pressure, not at all. The cold brew has a high potassium count. The cold brew itself helps balance that out. So it seems like I'm trying to get an energy boost and I'm just being healthy about it. And I'm doing it. I have no sugar in my diet other than some of the natural sugars that come with items like this coconut milk. And I feel great about myself. I get up, I exercise, I make my health a priority. I do not try to cheat myself. I don't try to cheat my health by, like, if I buy something cheap, it's because it's on discount or it's naturally cheap. I don't buy it cheap because I'm being cheap. A lot of people out here buying stuff cheap because they're being cheap. Ultimately, you're just cheaping out your whole life, and you look cheap. That's pretty harsh, but it's the truth. It's the truth. You can deny me because you have the right to, but you can't counter these claims. Human beings are the proof. Human beings are the proof. The numbers are the proof. The death toll, the amounts of diseases and sicknesses, ailments, the number of obese people, the number of people who cannot barely move on a day-to-day basis because of what they are eating and drinking. Because some people think exercise is the only answer. You got to cancel out your biggest enemy, your mouth.